You wake up, determined to make a change. Today, it's not one habit, not two, but 12. Make bed, skincare, exercise, healthy eating, sunlight, reading, journaling, call mom, deep work, clean house, look perfect. Oh, and don't forget to meditate. Everyone meditates. Just stop. It never worked for me. Do you ever get this surge of motivation to change every single thing about your life, incorporating so many habits that you eventually get overwhelmed? Well, what if I told you that you could do 80% less and get sustainable change towards your goals? Now, it might sound too good to be true, but I promise that with the 80-20 rule of habits, it's completely possible. And what if I told you that you could actually embrace your lazy, chaotic, passionate, emotional side? The 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto Principle, says that 80% of our results come from only 20% of our actions. If we can focus on the vital few that are going to give us the biggest results, we can work less and actually get major change that lasts forever. So stop listening to the productivity bros on YouTube who are trying to cram down one way of building habits. You'll learn how to prioritize your habits for maximum impact, how to pre-plan for possible downfalls, and finally, master the art of consistency. By the end, you'll be able to achieve more with less effort and stop feeling like you're on this constant roller coaster of starting and stopping a million different things. Say goodbye to overwhelm and hello to sustainable progress. Number 1, super controversial. Stop tracking your habits. Every single book I've ever read about habits has told me that tracking my progress is vital if I want it to become a major part of my life. But as a passionate, chaotic person, I've found that this is so not true. Tracking my habits is a habit in itself. And if I have to track a habit that I already don't feel comfortable doing, it's definitely not going to be integrated into my everyday life. Tracking can also make you feel super overwhelmed. And if you're someone prone to overwhelm or anxiety, seeing all of those habits on one list may make you feel completely exhausted and definitely not more excited to go and do those things that you're trying to enjoy. I used to never make my bed, and now every single morning I make my bed, and let me tell you, it's not something that I check off of a to-do list. The second I wake up, I make my bed. But if I had to check this off a to-do list, it would feel more like a chore and less like something that I just do without thinking. It almost makes me feel like habits are harder, and it actually takes me more time to feel like I can incorporate them into my life because now they're on a to-do list, so they must be super important. If we're not tracking anymore, how are we going to finally open up 80% of our habits with minimal effort? What you're going to start doing is prioritizing your habits. There are about 3, maybe even just 2 or 1 habits that significantly increase my chances of doing all of the other things that I want to do. If I get good quality sleep, then that impacts every single action I take throughout my day. And I don't care if I'm trying to read more, study more, go to the gym more, eat more healthy. If I get a good night's sleep, it translates and dissipates into every single area of my life where it feels way easier to do the little habits when I've got my sleep down. Maybe for you, your one habit is taking a walk. Walks can provide so many things for your life. Exercise, clearing your mind, getting sunlight, feeling more energized, stretching your body. But you need to identify what are those activities that give you the energy and the motivation to actually go and do other things in your life. It's actually been scientifically proven that people who work out in a day are more likely to eat healthy in that day because their brain is already primed for healthier behaviors. So if we're done tracking and we're going to start prioritizing the most important habits, then how are we going to get ourselves to do them? Well, you want to stop working against yourself and start working with your passionate personality. Here's the deal. If you go on to YouTube right now, you can find a bunch of people talking about habits and discipline, and telling you that what you need to do is force yourself to do things you don't like because you're gonna hate it.
And that's just how life is, so suck it up.
And then one day you won't hate it anymore, or actually you probably still will, but just keep going. I think this thought process is completely ridiculous, and it definitely did not work for me. Maybe you're someone who likes to be emotionally motivated. Maybe you're someone who their environment, their energy levels significantly impact their discipline. You might have also heard that you should use external motivation in order to get you to do your habits. This is also significantly flawed. In fact, so in this book, Jen Sincero was talking about how to reinforce your habits with rewards, and she uses external motivation. So in here, she talks about when you sit down to eat your healthy, low-calorie meal, then and only then can you check your social media. After writing for 2 hours each morning, chocolate, garbage. Not the whole book, but definitely this part. Because if you don't like your habits and if you're not finding intrinsic motivation to do them because you see the value in that action, it will never last. Because I have done this before. The only time I can binge watch Gilmore Girls, which is literally all the time, but the only time I can watch Gilmore Girls is when I'm on the treadmill. And guess what? After a while, I went back to binge watching Gilmore Girls on the couch because the thing that I actually loved was going to watch TV. It wasn't going on a walk, and I wasn't emphasizing the benefits of my walking time. I was emphasizing the benefits of my TV time. So eventually my brain went, okay, well, we're only doing this for the TV time, so it would be easier if we just sat on the couch and watched TV. Focus on making your habits more enjoyable. If you want to start making your bed every single morning, then you can find ways in which you have connected making your bed to positive things about making your bed. Maybe what you want to do is buy some luxurious bedding and some really cute pillows, and because you love seeing them every day, you will appreciate that your bed is made. I have a really great established evening routine. I get rewarded every single time I open my door at night, and I just get to lay in bed with my armchair pillow because it's all just kind of there for me. Your habits don't have to suck. They don't have to suck for you. Try to make them enjoyable, especially if you're more of a passionate, chaotic, lazy person. This is especially for you because, to be honest, if we want sustainable change, we're never going to do something that we don't enjoy. But there will obviously be bumps in the road. So that's why we need to pre-plan for potential challenges. This is a game changer. Willpower is overrated. You don't need it, and it's also not a permanent solution. What you can do instead is make your environment and make your life in accordance to planning for the worst case scenario against your habits. So let's say you want to wake up every single day at 6 a.m. What are the things we have to do in order to wake up at 6 a.m.? Number one, we need to get enough sleep. What are some things that stop us from going to sleep? Maybe a TV. I had to have a family member hide my TV remote from my room and unplug my TV. Maybe it's our phone. Maybe we need to go put our phone in a lockbox. Now, what are some things that could prevent us from waking up? We could disable the snooze button. We could add multiple alarms. Something I do is I leave my blinds open so that I get blinded by the light at 6 a.m. Think of any sort of thing that's going to prevent you or give you an excuse to not do that thing and plan ahead. Set out your workout clothes the night before. Have your backpack ready to go. Pre-plan what you're going to say in your YouTube video so that you have no excuse not to make it. But even when we pre-plan for failure, sometimes we still get off the wagon. I mean, all the time. So the last tip is to learn the art of consistency and just showing up. If you're someone like me who gets easily overwhelmed and can get really down on themselves when they mess up, this is for you. My habits never stuck because I couldn't learn the art of just showing up. It's about doing that thing even though you know it's not going to be excellent that day. I have set a goal for myself to exercise, move my body for 30 minutes every single day. And I've been like, I can do what whatever I want. However I'm feeling that day, I can stretch, I can do yoga, I can walk, I can go strength train, I can run, I can do whatever I'm feeling. But the point is to just show up. And in those moments where you were sick and your bed isn't made, you didn't do your homework, and your house is a mess, and you haven't worked out in a week, that's when you learn the art of just showing up. Because trying to go from 0 to 100 is always going to put your body in this huge stress mode, especially if you're prone to anxiety or overwhelm. In those times when you fall off the wagon, learn how to be gentle on yourself and lower the expectations. And then later you can start adding more goals for yourself. But the second you feel demotivated, or the second you feel like you just don't have the energy like you used to, bring those expectations back down. Because let me tell you, moving at a slow pace is so much more important than stopping and not moving anywhere. I have used the Pareto Principle to change my habits, and it has transformed my life, especially as an emotional, creative person who bases her life and the things that she does on my emotions. If you can find the major things to get right that are going to help you be more motivated and energized to do everything else, you just hit the gold mine, because then you don't have to force yourself all the dang time to do stuff you don't want to do. Now you're going to actually feel like doing the stuff that you want yourself to do. Comment down below what types of habits you're trying to incorporate in your life and what your new strategy is going to be for achieving them. And if you feel like not prioritizing your creative habits has led you to not be able to get that energy and motivation to apply to the rest of your life, watch this video right here where I talk about some things I've been learning about prioritizing creativity and creative hobbies.